Whiskey Thoughts is intended for a mature audience and is not for those easily offended. If this content hurts your feelings, please share it with your friends for moral support.
What's up, everybody? This is Cody Kessler. I'm with my co-host today, Mr. John Getz. Welcome to episode 1 of the Whiskey Thoughts podcast. I could not be more excited to do this. I can't imagine having a better first guest on. John's going to tell you a little about who he is, but just kind of set some ground rules for what this podcast is. So Whiskey Thoughts, as I've said to everybody, when I'm sitting around and I'm having drinks, and I always drink whiskey, basically what happens is I have unadulterated thoughts. there's not much filter, and I say pretty much whatever is on my mind. I say however I want to say it. So that's what the podcast is about. There's going to probably be some offensive shit on here. We're going to say some bad words. But the thing is that at the end of the day, the whole idea is to really just talk about things, bring light to some certain things that I think a lot of people don't understand, or just my point of view. You don't have to agree with it, but the whole thing is really to actually start a dialogue and get people thinking about some things differently, seeing things from a different point of view. But yeah, the people that as you can see in my shirt, I don't play well with stupid fucking people. And so that's the whole idea. And, as we're going to be talking today, trust me, if you're stupid, I'm going to fucking call you out. I'm going to say what I need to say. But that's really what this podcast is about. We're not going to be talking about politics every single show. It may come up, it may not. But the idea is to bring on, guests and other people that really, that have interesting things to say and talk about some cool shit. So speaking of interesting things to say and cool shit. So John is, no bullshit. John's probably one of the smartest guys I know. He's done some really cool shit in his life. So, but I'm not going to sit here and jerk you off. I'll let you tell everybody else.
Yeah, man. I mean,
who you are and what you do.
I love the concept at the end of the day, just talking about stuff and starting conversations where, you can have that conversation back and forth and have an intelligent conversation back and forth.
Exactly.
And see the other side sometimes, so I don't know. When you came up with the concept, I was all in on it right away.
Awesome.
I mean,
well, I'm sure, hopefully you'll be back multiple times and talk about a bunch of
mostly
shit.
For the whiskey, but I mean,
anytime there, man.
Yeah.
I can't even open this.
So
tell everybody, what's your background?
Yeah, a little bit about my background. I grew up kind of poor. Didn't have a lot of stuff, but you get a beating for doing dumb shit, right?
Good old fashioned American.
Yeah, and I thought about it a little bit on the way over here, and I was like, how did I get started on the path that I did? And it's not, after 9/11 when I started getting into DARPA and stuff like that. It was more back in the day. Like, I love cars and I love things. And I found out, you go to work and you bust your ass and you try to be the best that you possibly can.
Our set's not exactly.
Yeah, I can fix that for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, what can you do here, brother?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it on the way, and I quickly realized that if I want things, I need to bust my ass. And I started I was 14 years old, cutting potatoes in a restaurant for
That's what you gotta
do. But I wanted to be the fastest and the best fucking potato cutter there possibly could be.
That's the American way, man.
Yeah, and then
we've lost that, but that's a whole other conversation.
And then I found this place called Equipto, and they did punch press operation, CNC operation, welding, and whatnot. And I'm like, I'm gonna be the best damn welder because I'm getting
you did welding too?
I'm getting a free education here, and I'm getting paid $17 an hour as a kid.
Yeah,
it was awesome, right?
So you did a welding apprenticeship?
Yeah, so I went in with these guys. They put me on the E-coat line. It's 140-degree ambient. You're sweating your balls off, pulling beams off a line with this old guy.
You grew up in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
All right, so blue collar
all the way.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a good thing, dude. It teaches people good stuff. I think everybody, and not to get too far off, but if you're not going to go to college, I don't think college is for everyone. Unless you're going to go like a doctor, an attorney, something where it's really required to have a higher education, higher learning. Who gives a shit? Don't go to college. You're not going to use that degree unless you go business or something like that.
I'll tell you what, all the guys at this place were like, college boy, just remember this job because you're gonna like go to college and do smart shit, right? I'll be quite honest with you, dude. Like the stuff I learned there trumps all of my degree
the
stuff,
degrees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How many
way more
degrees do you
applicable.
have? You have a PhD?
No, man. Like I have a BS in
I got
biochemistry.
I got a BS and BS.
BS degree. Yeah. So I and you know, you apply that, and I work with all PhDs.
Yeah.
But I'm trained in like reality and like common sense, and you can't teach that to everybody. And like as a program manager, like common sense rules, and in life it rules. Like that's because you can tell me how to like build a molecule or like genetic something.
Nothing to me.
Yeah. So how do you commercialize that?
But can you hit a target at 2,000 yards
with the right wind conditions?
That's right, brother.
Fuck.
All right, so
I mean, like I did all that stuff, and that's how I grew up, and that's how I made my money. And I was drinking the good beer and the good alcohol in college because you know I go home and bust my ass all summer in a metal shop and learning a trade. And I almost didn't go back to college because I was thinking, shit, I can be an underwater welder for like these cruise ships coming in, make $100K in like a couple months and call it good and go cruise the world.
Yeah, and you chill the rest of the time.
Yeah. So I mean, dude, my father is he was a welder too, and he's like, look, man, like as you get older, you're gonna get tired of that.
It's a tough life, man.
So he's like, do the other thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, you've done well for yourself, and then you were telling me earlier, like, tell me a little bit about that shit with like, were you in Texas?
No. So yeah, the story of all of this is you became a scientist, did a whole bunch of that stuff, was working on Penn's campus, moved to Maryland because of Allison, my wife, and then quickly after 9/11, I was like, I need to get involved, like somehow. So DARPA came knocking and was like, we have $4 million to start this program. I'm like, I'm all in. And then they don't tell you what it is. And
there's a lot of people that probably don't know what the fuck DARPA is.
Yeah, defense DA.
He's not that smart.
Yeah, no. We use those acronyms so much that we forget what the fuck they mean ourselves.
Believe me, I understand. Yeah,
the research projects, like advanced research projects for the government. Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, who cares? So anyway, they're like, start this virtual autopsy project. I'm like, okay, cool. Who do I work with? And it was the Armed Forces Medical Examiner's Office. So
that's awesome.
Put a CT scanner in the Doverport mortuary as the bodies are coming back from the killed in action.
Yep.
And the whole idea there was to scan the bodies to see what kind of injuries there were before they're getting out to the pathologist to get the loved one back to the family faster.
Yeah.
And maybe inform some other decisions that we make on the battle space or vehicle systems, body armor,
how to
weapon system, protection systems, tactics and procedures on the battle space. But being at the medical examiner's office, anything that's federal that happens becomes our jurisdiction. Yeah. So Fort Hood 1, right?
Yeah.
All this stuff is going down and
what he means by that is the shooting, the Fort Hood shooting. What was his name?
Hassan.
Yeah. I try to forget these people's fucking names. Like
we should.
They're just worthless to me. But that's what John's talking about. He's talking about the shooting, the first shooting at Fort Hood. So
yeah. So we were working back and forth with the Army CID to try to figure out like, okay, who's taking body, who's doing jurisdiction and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a group of our guys, in a smart decision at that time, flew up there, grabbed the bodies, brought them to Dover before anyone knew, before it even hit the news.
That's smart.
Like we're getting all the intelligence off of the battle space, as it were, and back into our control so we can understand what's going on.
How much, and again, we can come back to this. So let me do this. Let me pause right there because I really want to come back to this. Yeah. So what are we drinking today? Brother John brought over a bottle of Matchstick straight bourbon whiskey. And this is Frederick County stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. McClintock. It's right downtown on the creek. Stuff was hard to get for a while. Won a bunch of awards.
It's good stuff. So with that, we both poured ourselves a nice glass. So this will be a recurring theme.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. So here's a whiskey thought. Tell me more about you're grabbing bodies from the field, from the battle space, before anybody else has really done anything to them.
Yeah.
They let's just say somebody gets blown up, IED, whatever. How much work are they doing on these bodies? After they call time of death,
Yeah.
You know, are they just kind of freezing them, packaging them up
Yeah,
nice, send them home?
it depends on where you're at. I mean, I call Fort Hood the battle space at that point, right? Because it is. I mean, we're at war with one of our own, which is the most dangerous threat, and I'm sure we'll touch on some of that shit later. But CID comes in, and it's just like your CSI. Like normal people come in, take the pictures, do the things that they need to do, and then why they have their thumbs off their ass, like we're grabbing them off the space, bringing them back to do the forensic evaluation, figure out what the hell happened. Yeah. Right. So in this case, like,
when you say what the hell happened, like what killed them? Like, how did they get hit where they died? Right. Yeah. Because I mean, you can get hit anywhere. You don't die from everything. You know, that's why guys get shot 9 times and still live.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's collecting all the information that you know is going to be litigated at some point or another.
Okay. I got you.
So not only is it like cause and manner of death, pretty easy on that one, but then location, number of, which is the lethal, that kind of thing.
I got you. All right. So you did that for 7 years?
Yeah, almost 7 years. Yeah.
What are you doing now? I know what you're doing, but I mean, it's just like,
I mean, it was a full turn, right? So working with DARPA and on that stuff, and a lot of the forensic stuff and body armor systems, vehicle design, like it was on the MRAP, like deselection programs, and
that's awesome.
Led to redesign, advanced tactical gear and the smaller vehicles, strikers, the V-Haul and all that stuff. So did a whole bunch of that crap and got more on like the process side and the project management side. And then this is a pretty good story, like a very pivotal moment. And I think in my career is that I was at Walter Reed and we were working on some prosthetics, exoskeleton technologies and whatnot. And I walked into like the main entrance. Yeah. There was families laying in the main entrance, like sleeping all over the place. And I'm like, what in the actual fuck is going on here?
Why? What's going on?
So it turns out, warfighter goes in surgery. They don't have enough rooms for these guys and gals, and their families are laying out in the damn hallway. Some dude, a triple amputee, holds the door open for me, and I'm like, something has to be done, both from a process and get these people to where they need to be in housing, 100%. Taken care of, and then that guy that held the door open for me, who's taking care of him now? That comes back. So 2 things in my life really changed at that moment. I turned right back around. I was like, I'm gonna go find a chaplain. Yeah. You have to like look somewhere for something. I'm like, sir, what is going on down there? He's like, we just don't have enough rooms or money. Go back home, start a campaign, raise, I don't know, $15,000. Yeah. Write a check, hand it to him. Like, get those people somewhere. Get them off the floor in the lobby.
Jesus.
Right. So that was one thing. And then the other thing is like the flip to make me go to regenerative medicine. Yeah. It was that moment. I went back to the 2-star at the time. I was like, hey, sir, like I need to get out of like the basement of Fort Detrick and doing medical intelligence. And I need to work with these regenerative medicine technologies that we're deploying. So he's like, go shop around, tell me who you want to work for, and then you're going to be the program manager there. So walk over to another building and be like interviewing the people, like, I'm going to take over for you, you know, kind of thing. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And then started a whole regenerative medicine manufacturing innovation institute from the Pentagon and all that.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, that all ran its course kind of, you know, and
because what was the name of that company? I don't know if you want to say it, but whatever.
Which one?
The one that you started there? Was it under a division under the actual government?
Yeah, all of that was it.
So it wasn't private company that you started?
No. Oh, I started in private company.
Okay. All right.
Like way before I got into any of the military stuff. And that was all like genetic engineering.
Because you already knew what was going on. I got you. All right.
Yeah. And then when I made the turnover to, you know, you gain all this medical information and I'm like, how are we using this? So I'm like, who do I need to talk to? So then I started talking to like some people that I met in passing at Aberdeen Proving Ground. They were like super excited to see like actual like injuries because there was all modeling and simulation. Yeah. So then I got tied into like National Ground Intelligence and those guys, and you know, talk about like geeking out about stuff. So then I hired a weapons forensics analyst, and he was my guy the whole time. Yeah. Yeah. So
taught you all a bunch of crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff. Yeah, we found some C4 one time. He was cruising around it in the back of his car. he pulls into National Ground Intelligence. He's like, "Yeah, I got this." And I was like, "You're gonna blow up the fucking building."
It's actually really hard to blow that shit up. It's really durable stuff, man. Like when I was demolitions expert. Mm-hmm. So that's all we did was play with C4 all the time. Yeah. Like whenever we went out and we had full battle rattle, like I had a bag 20 pounds of C4 on. Like,
it's fantastic.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The cool little things that you can do with that stuff, like making shape charges that go above a door that you literally will just melt whoever's below you.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome. Good stuff, man.
Yeah,
so,
we put 100 pounds underneath the MRAP and sent the hood a mile and a half away. I was like in slow motion, like the fuck that
was
gone.
Not to get off topic, but
yeah.
So when I was going through demo school, advanced demo school, I had this little Peugeot. It was a little piece of shit I bought for $800. It was like just to drive back and forth from base to home, whatever, and get around. It did the job. And so I was heading out to the rifle range, and it was like, I don't know, 4:30 in the morning. I was on the backside of base, and I was hauling ass. I was doing probably 80, 85 miles, which is about as fast as that car would go.
Downhill with a tailwind.
And I hit a buck, and it destroyed the car. I mean, I still remember it. Slow motion. The deer's like, watch it, but the car was gone. And so it got towed. They towed it back to the parking lot where the barracks were. And I let it sit there because I'm fucking 19 years old, I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this thing? Right?
Yeah.
So just let it sit there. And so it had been there for a long time, like in the back part of the parking lot. Nobody fucked with it or anything. And so then I'm at demo school and we're sitting there and we're out on the range. And so I go to the WO and I was like, sir, I was like, I have to ask. I was like, I have this car. They want me to get rid of it. I don't really know what to do with it. I was like, can we blow it up? And he was like, absolutely. But you have to make sure that all the fluids are out. So no gasoline, no oil, all this. I was like,
yeah.
Yes, sir.
We'll make that happen right now.
I did not do any of that.
Of course not.
So we had it towed out to the range and they put it out there. And literally the last thing he said to me, he goes, Kessler, is this thing empty? And I was like, absolutely, sir. We put a 10-pound shape charge and they did like this little, like a little mission. They were all right, go out there, rig it to the brakes, run the electrical, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, the thing was just, I was just this huge fucking cone sitting right on top of the engine. And so we blew this thing and I remember the hood. I mean, the hood went so high, we were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was literally a hole, that big around that went straight down into the ground for at least 25 feet, at least. The car was gone. The whole front of the car was just completely gone. And it had flipped back like 2 or 3 times. But the gas explosion.
Well, sir, I don't think I got it all, maybe. Vapor.
I just remember him looking at me and he said 2 things. He said, that was fucking amazing, but you're fucking digging. I had to dig. I was digging a giant hole and all that shit. But it was awesome, man. It was fucking great. So, all right. Anyway. So let's move on to a couple of different things that we're kind of talking about. The things that we were saying earlier, like there's some really fucked up shit that's obviously happened this week.
Yeah.
19 kids, 2 teachers died in a school in Texas by a mentally ill 18-year-old boy. And I won't say the fucking guy's name. I will not even give him that. But I'm telling you, this kid was obviously mentally fucking ill. I've seen pictures of him. He's dressed up like a woman. He clearly has some issues just from the photos, and you can see this. And then you look at the posts and things like that. And, so I really kind of wanted to get in with you because obviously you're a 2A enthusiast. I mean, we're sitting here. I'll let him show you the gun later on. But, I mean, we're sitting here next to a very, very amazing weapon. But the point being is like, I really want to talk about like what happened, and then kind of get into like some actual like real solutions. Because I don't know anybody, right? I don't know anybody that loves guns as much as you and I do. That was like, all right, well, cool. Let's just keep killing. Like, who the fuck thinks that?
Yeah.
Like no one, not one normal person, unless you are a crazy fuck, thinks that what happened is okay.
Yeah.
Nor do you go, I'm okay with it happening again, right? So my point of view is when you look at this, it's like, all right, so why isn't shit happening, right? Why isn't the federal government doing anything to stop this stuff? So you start breaking it down, and we'll get into all the cool things like what could be done, possible solutions, TAC ops, all the shit that didn't happen, that should have happened in Texas. But I'm looking at this and I'm just high level. So we'll start there and we'll go, all right, so why isn't anything happening at the government level, which is what everybody screams about, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want fucking gun control. I want this. Let's take the guns out of. That doesn't stop anything, right? So I mean, let's just honestly say this: like, there isn't a county, a state that has strict gun laws, and in fact, it's the opposite. You take New York, take Chicago, take the cities in California. They have the strictest gun laws, and they have the highest gun murder rates, right? They have so right there you can take that and go, all right, this doesn't stop it. If people want to do bad shit and they're evil people, they're going to do bad shit. So the government, in my opinion, automatically goes to a position of, okay, there's no middle ground. Bad shit happens. We automatically want to start banning guns. We want to start talking about repealing the 2A, taking these things away. Why nothing happens is because you can't go that aggressive. You're talking about changing a constitutional right.
Yeah.
And so if I'm on the other end, that's the other problem, right? Is as much as I love the 2A, there isn't any genuine conversation coming from the right about what can be done either, right?
Sure, yeah.
And so you have two sides that are completely polar opposites, digging in their heels. I want all your guns. No, we don't want any, and so nothing happens.
That's
right?
there's no middle ground. There's
Zero.
no middle ground.
No.
Like, so even our side, quote.
Yeah, exactly.
It's saying like unrestricted, like everybody gets a gun. And that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. And
that's insane.
A lot of people that I know that are like, want to abolish anyone having a gun other than Lord knows who, the bad guy, essentially, like comes to me and we have a conversation. Yeah. And they think I'm going to be like, don't take my guns. I want open carry, do whatever I want. And when we have this conversation, I'm like, I want to make it really hard, because as a competent shooter and someone who like competes on a routine,
you understand what it takes.
There's a huge responsibility carrying a firearm concealed. I have a concealed weapons permit in Florida. And every time I go into Virginia, I have the gun on, and it is a very stressful situation because you're putting yourself as, essentially a guardian angel for other people.
Yep.
I take that job very
people think that you're doing it because you want to act like you're tough or cool.
Not at all. I wish I didn't have to.
Ever. Like I growing up, I never felt like that, right? Growing up, I was like, fuck, make a gun? Who needs that? Like, now, dude, I can't even think about taking my kids to like a movie, right? I can't go to church because I'm afraid of something that's, God, I can't go into my kid's school.
All places where this stuff has happened.
Because they're all gun-free zones, right? And so if I know, like, okay, well, there's not going to be anybody there, why wouldn't I just go? And it doesn't matter whether I have fucking assault rifles, such fucking bullshit, but it doesn't matter. I can have a pistol, and if I'm proficient with a pistol, guess what? I'm going to do just as much damage in a small confined space as I am with an assault rifle, or any other weapon. Like, give me closed space, give me people that are unarmed. I'm going to do some damage.
I would argue with a pistol, you do more damage. Because, as it's a high-speed round, and it makes a real small hole, which we've had that problem in theater. Yeah. With bad guy coming, you hit him 16 times with a 5.56, and you don't hit him in any vitals. He keeps right on running.
It goes right through.
Inside, in and out. Yeah. Like, there's cavity and there's temporary cavity. And it's velocity. Only this. Yeah. And the in and out is that. Where you have like a 45 or 40 or 9, you're doing bigger holes and more damage. Yeah.
So I would say, again, I agree with you. Just understanding ballistics. And that's one of the reasons why I want to, this guy's not making this shit up. Like, this is what he does for a job scientifically, since we're supposed to believe in the fucking science, right? That's all that matters. Believe in the science. He's talking science. So no one is coming to the table with genuine removing the emotion, right? Because that's the first thing that happens. It's horrible, dude. Like, you're talking about 19 little kids, man. It's like, it's god awful. Like, I can't even imagine. I don't even like thinking about it. Like, all I really do is go, how do I make sure that this never happens again? And I legitimately want to have that conversation
to your kids or anyone else's. It's not like people make it so personal. Like, I don't want my kids getting it. Like, I don't want anyone to have that experience ever. Because the survivors, I mean, they have it worse than probably the person that got killed, right? Because way worse. In your mind, every time you're in a school or somewhere else, that door is going to bust in and someone will have a gun pointed at you.
Every time. And again, you look at the innocence of a child. And you're just like, you put them in that situation and the fear and the god awful, scenario that they lived through, and then ultimately perished from, or in, I just me personally having a child go through that is like, it's not acceptable in any way, shape or form. Right. So it's like, but it is stoppable. It is something that we can actually do. And it's not that hard.
Yeah. And we, I don't want to get into solutions that I think, but
that's what
I don't think we understand the problem. I don't even think
guns are not the problem. That's the whole thing.
That's obviously not a problem. Like free access. You could honestly say that you could just like walk into 7-Eleven and cash and carry. That's a problem, right?
100%.
That's not 100%. The problem at hand right now, because you cannot do that.
They're all mentally ill, and they're trying to, and again, they're trying to take this and politicize it in such a way, and they're trying to be like, all right, so any of the shooters, they're white, they're like, no, dude, like
it's a mixed bag. I mean,
it is 100%.
Yeah,
right?
And I concur a little bit with like you're a lunatic when you do something like that because you have to be in order to do it. But there's and I'm gonna get into something that an office mate of mine like really started. And it was around first responders and surgeons.
Yeah.
And they called it, instead of being burnt out, they call it moral injury.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
So think about it. Like you're a surgeon and you do a bunch of research and you know everything there is about medicine, and there's new and fancy technologies that could get the person to cure. But insurance and this process are in place that don't allow you to do your best job.
Yeah.
You get beat down over and over again because the system is telling you something that your morals don't agree with.
Yeah, that doesn't align.
This correlates to the psychotic behavior, like all the crap that the kids are seeing now. And all the other stuff is damaging them to the point where they have moral injury, and it's causing them to do ridiculous stuff. And they looked at it from a like warfighter perspective too.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're constantly told to do something that you don't agree with morally. Then you start getting hatred for the commander.
Yep. And
you start having hatred for your unit. And that's a moral injury, which causes you to do some crazy shit.
100%. Right? Because you naturally, the human spirit isn't designed to operate like that, right? Yeah. It's not.
So your surrounding environment and the stuff that's being pushed upon you,
right,
that's against your moral compass, is driving you to do some fucked up shit. And
so I understand that, right?
And where does that switch happen, right?
But what was against this guy's moral compass, right?
I mean, it could be a confused individual.
100%.
Now he's offered this LGBTQ plus yada yada something.
Be whatever you want.
Confused
you
even more.
Pretend and
right. Confuses that individual, and people need counseling that are so far on like going sideways. This guy's posting stuff on social media.
It's right there.
And this is replicated time and time again for all of these shootings, time and time again.
So, bro, let me ask you this, right? So clearly, dude, I've been banned from Facebook 10 months out of the last 18 months. Okay, 10 out of the last 18 months, I've been banned for saying things like, hey, burn the house down, collect the insurance. That's inciting violence, okay? So if I'm watched at that level, they have the capability, one, they have the desire, two, but they're not watching the shit that they should watch.
Yeah.
Me saying to somebody leaving a spider in the house, yeah, burn the house down and collect the insurance, that's not inciting violence. Somebody that's actually like, I'm going to fucking kill people in a school. Dude's and it's like, here it is, dude.
Dude's like, I shot grandma.
And they do nothing.
How did that not get flagged immediately?
Don't know.
Like, all right. So I'm laying prone, posting a picture of me shooting a mile away.
Yeah.
There should be some automatic filters that like, okay, gun in competition, good to go. Like,
no problem.
But a kid sitting at like with a gun, like up to the thing, I'm going to kill a bunch of people.
The technology is there, right?
It's technology 100% there.
So
it's there enough to ban your ass from 100%. Facebook. Like,
there's a group of people with like purple hair and fucking rings and shit, grossly overweight, I imagine, and literally just like monitoring everything I say.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You have one person dedicated.
I don't
just to
think it's
you.
one now. I think it's like there's a team of people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Congratulations.
There's a whole department in San Francisco.
That's pretty badass.
I'm that important. That's awesome.
I must not make it that special.
So,
oh man.
But it's like they have the ability to do this shit, and they're doing nothing. They're doing no positive work with it, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to use social media to monitor people, at least fucking do it where there's something there. So it's like, but then to go back to what we were saying about like being able to get your hands on a gun, right? We live in Maryland, which is one of the hardest states in the country to get a gun. It's difficult, right?
Yeah.
You got a 7-day waiting period. You can't buy any more than a certain amount of weapons in a 30-day period. You got to take an HQL handgun qualification license, and you got to do a lot of shit. And then also they have restrictions on the types of guns that you can buy and carry,
capacity,
and
the whole
everything,
thing.
Right? So,
but what they don't have.
Well, hold on, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that because I don't want to give any ideas. Don't tell them what. But yes,
it's competency.
Exactly.
There's no competency exam.
So I was talking with my wife about this the other day, and she had brought up like age. 18-year-olds should not be allowed to buy guns, and I said, okay, well, why?
You can vote and die.
I was like, they're an adult legally. They have constitutional rights, just like everybody does. I was like, so you can't take the age thing and just go, all right, well, that's it.
Yeah.
She's like, but the majority of the people that are doing these school shootings are younger. And I said, okay, I understand that, right? I get that. There's a valid point there. But it's not the age that is the problem. It's the crazy fuck factor, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So because then I said, all right, well, give me an age where you go, all right, well, now you're old enough to buy a gun. And we use 30. We just went super uber like conservative 30, right? I said, okay. I was like, so in the situation where somebody has been so damaged, morally injured, right?
Yeah.
That they're carrying something with them from however old, 12, 8, and they're carrying that to the point where they're 18 and now they can go buy a gun. They've been thinking about that shit for 6, 10 years, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So I don't give a fuck what you say to me, right? If that person is carrying that baggage with them for that long, they're going to wait another 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, because that's not leaving. That damage isn't going away.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's probably just going to get worse and amplified.
I would imagine.
Right?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Because it's going to fester.
Yeah.
And somebody who's in that world, right? They're not getting better. They're not getting the help that they need. Nobody's identified. In fact, they're probably just being more secluded, more ostracized. Everything about their life is just now outside of social norms. And so it's actually just compounding as you grow. So I think from that standpoint alone, like just, okay, well, you could be 30, you could be 50. Because I can tell you right now that I don't care. I'll jump through any hoop because I'm legal, right? And I'm like, all right, well, I got no problem.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if you want me to do this, okay, okay. I'll wait a year and, 6 months for my can, suppressor, silencer. I'll do these things because those are the rules. And like, do I like them? No. But will I do it? Sure. Because it is what it is.
We're compliant people. Like at the end of the day, like
compliant to a degree. I'm going to call some stupid shit out.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to like lemming off a mountain.
Never.
It's just not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like some of the gun stuff is it's just nuts.
But I mean, how would you feel about it? Because I would be perfectly okay, right? Because the people that commit these crimes, and it's not just school shootings, it's just gun crimes in general, right?
Yeah.
They fit all, there's like 3 or 4 boxes that you got to check, and they're all the same things, right? So one of those things really is like mental health. It's not just criminal record.
It is,
right?
Yeah.
The biggest thing to me is mental health, because I can take somebody, and if you're really giving them a good screening, not some bullshit, like a good screening, even if let's just say that you're a criminal, right? You're not crazy. You're just a criminal. Well, there's mental factors that can be identified for somebody who is a drug dealer in Chicago,
Sure.
right? That has low education and literally will kill you at the drop of a hat because they don't give a fuck about anything.
Yeah.
That can be identified through mental screenings.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're crazy, right?
Yeah, and that changes on a day-to-day. I mean, my mental
Exactly.
health changes on a day-to-day basis.
Minute by
trust
minute,
me, yeah.
minute by minute, bro.
Yeah, depending on how pissed off I am that
and
day
who,
or how
and
much.
who I'm around.
Yeah. But we have bookends on that, right?
You're
Like,
able to control those things.
We float within the realm of like fitting into society and not like go shoot the fucking place up because
Jordan Peterson.
we've had beatings as children to put us on a straight and narrow, and you follow a social norm. But it's like I feel bad for the kids now, like getting these. Your social norms are so bent now that
there are no social norms.
It's gone. Like,
you can be whatever the fuck you want to be.
So when you remove those boundaries of what mental health looks like, or social norms, or moral injury looks like, then you
got nothing.
How do you monitor it then?
You can't.
I was reading this like Harvard paper on like why gun violence happens.
Yeah.
And I was pretty surprised that they all but ruled out like access. Access wasn't the issue, and that's coming from Harvard, right? How many
gun owners are there in America?
I mean,
it's staggering.
It's bananas,
and the amount of weapons that they own is staggering. And so, if it was
COVID relief fund went to like acquisition of firearms,
100%.
Like, trust me,
if it was an access problem, the amount of deaths from legitimate gun owners would be off the charts.
Yeah.
And it's not. Right? It's not.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, Texas, I sent you that article just before coming over.
Right.
What is it?
You think
the 13 years, 8 events.
It's kind of funny that they take the state, right? The Texas state of Texas, the one that's known for loose gun laws, open carry, all that stuff. Do you find it funny that that these things happen in certain places and certain times? Do you ever go, well, holy shit. So Hillary Clinton was just proven unequivocally to have fucking actually created, disseminated all of the shit about Russian collusion, and Trump made it all up, right? And it's in court testimony. People were saying, yep, this is true. The same fucking week that comes out, look at what happens in Texas, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, as I put on my fucking tinfoil hat. Yeah. But dude, when have I been wrong? I haven't.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like,
I mean,
all the crazy shit that people say, it's like it ends up being true.
It's sleight of hand, like all this stuff in.
Look over here.
Every time I have to go to DC, like I tell Allison, I go home and like lay in the shower in a fetal position. Like,
it's nasty.
Like, they're arguing over Roe versus Wade. Like, and that's like the number one problem. Like, I don't want to get into like the abortion thing.
No. But social issues. Do you give a fuck about social issues if you live under a bridge? If you have no money, no job,
not at all.
You're panhandling. You're like trying to beg for money to get a hot dog from 7-Eleven because that's your next meal. Imagine having kids. Do you care about gun rights? Nope. Social issues at all? Not a chance. So this is what they use to literally, again, smoke and mirrors. It's sleight of hand.
Yeah.
It is, don't look here, look over here. And I firmly believe that. That's another show, so to speak, another topic. But it's like, kind of get back to the whole school shooting thing. So, like, this kid was obviously mentally fucking ill. And we've already identified that people could have seen this. Police could have seen it. FBI could have seen it, right?
The grandmother he shot in the face saw it for sure. Hassan, the same. I hate to.
It was right there.
He was a psychologist.
Writing was on the wall.
There were people in my office that were forensic psychologists that were friends with him.
Yeah.
That as soon as they saw, before it came in, they saw a friend. It was that guy. And she came to my office. She's like, John,
it's that guy.
Him and another guy I'm really close with to this day was roommates with him. And he's like, the guy's fucking insane.
Nuts.
And they tell everyone.
Nobody cares.
Nothing happens.
Well, I mean, now it's like, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, if I say there's a man that thinks he's a woman, dresses like a woman, acts like a woman, wants to pretend to be a woman, and I'm going to use Dr. Rachel Levine. Okay, I'm not even going to say that that's not. I'm not even going to say anything more. I'm just going to say let's take that.
Welcome to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, let's take that as the example, right? If you go back 5 years, that's a crazy fucking person. Okay, that's not the assistant director of national health or whatever the fuck that thing's position is, right? That's a crazy person. That is a lunatic who has mental health issues. But we've wandered into the realm of, like you said, there's no boundaries anymore. And the shit that used to be like, okay, that person's crazy. We need to get them help, right? And I'm not saying you ostracize them. I'm not saying you like you yell shit. I can't even say the shit that because it will fucking get banned. Like I would be screaming at the top of my lungs right now, but we would get shut down on episode 1.
Yeah, when you're mentioning all this, it goes back to my original thing of working in peeling potatoes or being a welder.
Like that guy never peeled potatoes. That guy's never shot a gun. But if you're going never done anything. That guy has never done a damn thing.
I look at it like this
in his life.
If you're going to make a transition, be the best at that transition you could possibly
100%, dude.
And he's not doing a very good job.
He's not doing a very good job at all.
Yeah.
Like he's
go all in.
He's like 5% in that thing.
Go all in.
He's dialing it. Like,
I have more respect for you if you go all in.
A buddy of mine that I was
all in.
A buddy of mine that I was just talking to, he's been out of the nightlife business for a little bit. And so he's back in, and he was like, bro, he's like, you know, the craziest shit is, he goes, back in the day, I used to be able to tell when it was a man dressed up as a woman. I used to be able to tell. He goes, I got no idea now. He's like, there's shit that is so good that either I wouldn't know until I got the dick out of the pants. Okay.
Surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Or it's so good that you have no idea.
Or you don't care.
Yes, I'm saying. I mean, but if you have no idea.
Yeah.
If there's no dick and it's true transitional surgery, she went all in.
Good. Go all in. Be the best.
There's a girl, I don't remember her name. I sent it to a bunch of people. I may have sent it to you because it was like an Instagram account. And like it was a girl playing basketball in high heels. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, this girl's good. Like, and then I went to her Instagram thing. I was like, oh fuck. I mean, she's kind of cute. I was like, hey, look at this. And I showed it to Dora, my wife. And she goes, that's a dude. And I was like, what? And I went back. And so I sent all my friends, I was like, yo, check out this hot bitch. just to trick them. And you're like, but
go all in.
It is what it is. Be the best of whatever it is that you're going to be. Just
I have more respect for you. And it's, I guess at that point, to me, it's not as crazy as you imagine it. Like, okay,
if you really think that you are a woman and you're in the wrong body, like if that's how I was, I would be going, look, man, get rid of this, do this, get me over there, let me be, and I want to be a hot bitch.
Yeah,
I want to be a hot bitch.
It's for different reasons, and I've seen like growing up. There's you probably went to school with people. You're like.
I just screamed out, I want to be a hot bitch. So here's a whiskey thought.
Yeah, that's a whiskey thought. Yeah, I mean, we've all went to school with people or had relationships with people where you're like, something's you're a little gender bending a bit, right?
Yeah. And a little soft in the shoes.
There's something like, I make the argument, and maybe I'm a little bit more liberal on this topic a bit because I don't have that cognizant moment in my life where I was like, I like boobs. I never made it's just boobs.
Yeah.
Like, I love them. Right. At the end of the day,
I thought it was normal. Like, this is what you do.
Someone who is like, I don't have any attraction to that, or even has to think about it.
Yeah.
Like you don't make a cognitive decision whether you're straight or gay. I don't think
it just happens.
There's some people that are doing it for attention, and that's a very different thing.
Bill Maher just said, this is a fad.
Yeah.
100% this is a fad. 100%. And listen, there are definitely people that are genuinely, like it happens, right?
Yeah.
And even in the cases, there are those rare cases, which a lot of people use this as the foundation of their argument. Because I'm like, there's XX, there's XY. That's science, right? And then there's the, oh, well, they've got this. Like, I'm like, okay, dude.
There is a meta female version of that, like
That's
XXY.
And it's so like fractional. It's so small that those people really are just, and then you go, I feel bad for those people. Just like I feel bad for people that, Down syndrome or any other kind of genetic, problem or whatever it is.
You've recently seen this argument happen on the stage as you're getting selected to become a judge for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I'm not a biologist. I am.
Yeah.
You're not going to like my answer.
Yeah. There's only
a woman is
2 genders.
2 X chromosomes.
That's it. XX. And then men are XY. That's it.
There is some variance in there, like I said.
That's what I'm saying. But it's
a very weird genetic disorder or an issue that comes up that you could argue that down a little bit as a scientist. But like my biological opinion.
But that's what I'm saying. But so let's take those people. And maybe there's in the world, if I'm being super generous, 10,000.
Yeah, I mean,
it's super generous, right?
A fraction of a percent.
Yeah.
So
in the world,
your definition
maybe 10,000.
is.
So let's take those 10,000 and be like, hey, guess what? Potluck. You get to pick, whatever you want to be, because you could be this, you could be that. Like, but everybody else, guess what? You don't get to fucking pick. Okay, you don't get to pick. God picked for you, or whatever it is that you believe in. Don't care. Science tells you what you are.
Yeah.
Period. The end. And that's it.
And that's the argument that she made during that point. And then I give you the answer, which is definitively the answer.
Her argument was,
and you don't like it.
Now, it had nothing to do. She knows.
Yeah, she knows.
She knows.
It does. It goes against.
She didn't want to be attacked and canceled by the leftist mob who will literally eat their own alive. They're chewing Bill Maher to pieces now. Bill Maher, their hero.
Someone I could never even stand to watch, right?
I
used
to enjoy him like a long time ago, but over the last like however many years, it just got old. It got tired.
It's the same.
It's literally, it's like, how many times can you watch somebody vomit the same shit?
Yeah.
Right. And so whatever. Anyway. All right. Cool. All good stuff. Because now we're talking about like what really is that guy's problem, right? He has no fucking, he doesn't fit in. And if you don't have a point of value in life, right? Like, okay, what? And so I was thinking about this the other morning. Like, if you don't do shit in this world, right? You don't know shit. You aren't shit. You don't have shit. The one thing that you have, right, that no one can take away from you, I am a man or I am a woman, right? Because those two things are inherently beautiful. They both come with extremely special things that only you can do. And so if you're a man, be the best man that you can be. If you're a woman, be the best woman that you can be, right? And so when you blur those lines and you take that away, people have nothing.
Plus, mediocrity has been celebrated for so long now.
It makes me nauseous.
Like, you get your participation sticker. There's no winners or losers. Like,
nauseous.
Look, at some point or another, you're going to run into a boss or a situation.
It's like
your job, for example. You're bidding on a home. You're going to win or lose.
You're going to win or lose.
There
is no second place.
That is.
But we almost got this. Can we live in the basement? Like,
it's black or white.
We were second.
And I could imagine that you have some people like, but I put a good offer in. Will someone put a better offer than you?
All the time.
Well, I was there first. It doesn't matter.
But the thing is this, it doesn't matter. And that's great actual point to bring up, because when you dissect that, there isn't a question about who won, who lost. There isn't a question. It's, I don't care whether you're gay, straight, white, black, rich, poor. It doesn't matter. When you lose that, you accept it and you go, I got to move on to the next one, right? Yeah. So we can do it there. We understand that it's there. We just don't want to accept it in any other way other than the shit that we go, all right, well, this is it. Yeah. And now we've gone, okay, well, you don't have to do it here, because if you do it or don't do it, everyone's going to jump in and tell you how great you are. And that everyone, like, I mean, listen, man, I don't mind if you got a little weight on you, right? I don't care. But if you are an unhealthy fat fuck, like, that's not good. And it's not that I care to look at you or what you, it's not healthy. Like I would tell my own family member, like you're obese. Like that's not healthy, right? That's more people die of obesity than they have of anything else. So if you really want to talk about all this stuff, right? Let's get into that. But like, yeah, it's insane to me that people can detach themselves from all these things, and you have like a Victoria's Secret model or the cover of Sports Illustrated. I don't know what that is, okay, but that's cool if you want to be big like that. But that doesn't mean that you're hot. You know, it just doesn't mean that you're. It doesn't mean you're sexy. That is not the definition of sexy. That's a definition of, okay, cool. If that's what you want to be.
Yeah, I mean,
I got no problem with that.
All bodies can be celebrated.
Hey, man,
sure.
Have at
it. And there's a kink for everybody at the end of the day.
100%.
Like, so some people, okay.
100%.
All
right, so
there are norms.
And
it's taking away the bookends of what is in that normal behavior pattern,
exactly.
social pattern, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I got you, man.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to how the fuck do we stop kids from getting shot and killed in schools?
Yeah, I mean,
what would you do? Well, just if you had the name,
I mean,
like maybe
I'll tell you what,
top 5 bullet points. What do you do?
Let me give you a personal experience that I had. I was working for a company in Frederick. I'm not going to name names, and I talked to them about active shooter training. So we had a large space on a second floor that had 2 access points that were fairly well controlled. We bought a new space downstairs that was along the windows, and the main entrance paralleled where everybody was sitting.
Okay.
So 1 door entrance.
Yep.
No, in and out, 1 door.
That's it.
It backed up to another company who had access to our space, but we didn't have access to their space.
Jesus.
Everyone, the way the seats were configured, everyone's backs were to the main door. So I was like, there's a huge problem with this space.
We're talking about, that's just.
Yeah, so I come in and I said, this is an active shooter nightmare. And we need to reconfigure the space and understand how we get in, how we get out, and retool everything. And the CEO laughed at me.
Why?
Because he's like, that's never going to happen. I was like, man, you're pretty ignorant, right?
Yeah.
So let it go. And 2 days later, piggyback through the door when him, the CEO, and the head guy.
You showed him how easy it was.
So I piggybacked through the door and smacked each of them on the back. And they're like, what the hell is that all about? I was like, I just shot you.
Yeah. Boom, boom.
And they're like, all right, Mr. Getz, you want to reconfigure the space for us and give us all training?
It really is that easy, though.
So to my point is that there's a couple things that can mitigate a lot of these problems. You could start with the mental issues, like the mental problem, the moral injury problem, but at the point of care, as it were, at the school, there's technologies that recognize gunfire or recognize gun. So there's visualization. It's a little bit of money to put cameras up that can recognize this and immediately call the police and or the SWAT team. Second.
Well, apparently he came through an unlocked door.
Well,
in a secured school.
Yeah. Well,
how's
clearly
that,
not.
Right? Exactly.
Right?
You're not secured.
Armed personnel.
Yep.
I think that
a team.
A team. And I'd argue.
I would go with 3.
I know a lot of service members.
Yep.
And I know a lot of commanding officers that would allow the service members to go to the schools of the local areas. And you see a man in uniform standing there, you're going to it's a bad day for you.
You
right?
know, I got to be honest with you. I hear that, but you can't take an active guy. You just can't.
It's
right?
hard. Yeah.
You can't take an active guy. And what you got to do, in my opinion, not to get off topic here, or not off topic, but just not to kind of butt in, but it's if you're going to do that, which I agree with, right? I really do. If we have the money to do all the dumb shit that we're doing, start something that's under the Department of Education, right?
Agreed. Yeah. So
start a division under the Department of Education that's managed by them. So it's in all the public schools, private schools. Hey, that's your gig because you're private, right? But if you've got something that's managed and funded by the federal government, and you're giving preference to people that are actually either former cops, former, military, whatever, and they actually have training. They're not just fucking guys that are, oh, I'm 65 years old or 78.5 and I can't do shit. But I used to be a cop. And
that's when a hall monitor gets shot, right? Like,
100%. That guy's
yeah.
that guy's done for.
Yeah.
That's the guy that runs out with the kids. Okay.
Yep.
Because he's not checked in.
Yeah.
He's on another level. He's not doing shit. And that's actually, we've seen that multiple times now. Like those guys, no, man, you need young guys that are ready to say, you know what, this is my job. I care about this. And there's a lot of former veterans that would love to do that job, especially now working for the government, getting government benefits again. They would love that.
Yeah, that's a good point. My first response was skewed by my background, and
it is what it is.
The last time this happened, my whole team was like, "I'd go do it." Sergeant Major, he's going to go do it.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that there's like.
But to your point, once the federal government intervenes itself, then it becomes a federal problem instead of. It's the racy of things, right? The responsibility and form, yada yada. So until the Board of Education, to your point,
privatize it,
takes responsibility for the shit going on in your backyard, then they're just going to pass the buck, and it's going to be like gun violence and access to guns is the problem. No, your security is the problem.
100%.
Right? So get your security in check. And then teachers, there are a lot of teachers that I know personally that want to train with me, and they want to carry.
Yeah.
And it would end the bullshit.
Did you see that video? It's floating around on Instagram right now. There's a lot of like high profile people that are putting it out, and it's a school that is mostly black, which I find to be interesting, right? There's some white kids that go to the school. The director of security is white, but it's they have a black principal, black pastor on the school grounds, and the two teachers there are black as well, right? So the director of security and everybody that I just named, that's 4 other individuals, all carry 45s. Okay. The pastor carries it in a fake Bible. Like, amazing.
Praise Jesus.
Amazing. Praise be to Jesus. Amazing, right? And these guys are legit. And they're like, nope, they've been trained. They understand. You can tell as soon as they draw their weapons, how they hold them. They've got them down the ground. Like, you can tell they've had some level of training, right? I don't know their proficiency, but they've had some level of training. But it goes on further. They go into classrooms and they ask the children, how much safer do you feel knowing that your teacher or principal or whoever it is carrying a gun? And they all raise their hands, right?
Yeah.
Every last one of them. And so then you hear these arguments, which that's the whole idea of this, is to talk about this. Like, I hear these arguments are like, well, teachers are supposed to be teachers, and not all of them want to carry. Well, no, of course not. No, if you don't want to carry a gun, don't carry a gun.
Yeah, it's not a forced
It's
function.
not a forced thing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know, like, keep this in next to your pencils and your paint, like,
that's
nobody
worse
cares about that.
That's
right?
worse than the problem itself. Yeah.
You give somebody that doesn't want a gun and doesn't know how to use a gun,
way worse.
Way worse. But here's the thing. You could legitimately have 5, 10, maybe more. I don't know how big your faculty is, but I can promise you, and you don't even have to tell anyone. No one has to know who is and who isn't carrying, but you send those people, you get them trained, because if you want to be that person, well, why are you stopping them? Why are you saying you can't do this, right? Yeah. Because God, I mean, I know the answer for you, and I can say it for me. If we're teachers, there isn't a chance. There isn't a scenario that you can think up where I'm like, okay, no, I don't want a gun.
Yeah.
And no, I wouldn't be the first guy there. Okay. I wouldn't be the first guy there. As soon as I knew anything was going on in that school, I don't care. I'm making sure that I can save as many people as I can save. Yeah. And if that means that my life goes, but if I go saving other people, hey, that's what it is. Right. And so there's a lot of people like us. We're not special, right? They're all over this country. God bless those people.
Yeah, for sure.
These are the people that we need in this country, right?
I mean,
am I wrong?
No,
I mean, we
need
these
people.
It's
like, there's people that run to things like that and people that run away. And that it's fight or flight at the end 100%. Of the day. And it's fine whoever you are.
It doesn't matter.
But
I don't
chastise the people who are running towards that. That's what's happened in the past. Like defund police and all this other stuff. It's chastising the people who are running to protect you.
And protect you.
And then when it goes away, then what's happening now?
Exactly.
Screaming. all the COVID funding, like in a company that relied on a lot of COVID funding because we do all the testing in K through 12 and airport and all that stuff to make sure that people can fly safe and yada yada. All that funding's been shifted to the police now.
Yeah,
because you took it all away, and then chaos happens, and now you got to bring it all back to normal again.
So insane.
Like,
so
surprise.
Insane.
Yeah.
If you're in Congress, if you're in fucking Congress, and you are advocating for a weapons ban, for anything that is gun control that doesn't make any sense, and you are protected by men with guns, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, seriously.
Shut the fuck up. Like, you got no business talking. You got no place in the conversation at all.
The
like,
mental health conversation is not coming up. It blows me away.
Because they don't want to talk about why people are having the mental health issues, right?
They're driving it, right?
100%. With all the craziness that they're bringing up. And like, that's why it's like they don't have anywhere to go. Because if they really talked about and were honest and had any integrity in the conversation at all, it would be very apparent. Like, what you're doing is causing this, right?
Yeah.
If you can go all the way back to Columbine, you can go all the way back and you can go, okay, so these are liberal progressive policies that tarnished their brains, changed how they thought. You know, and I don't want to get into God and all that stuff, but I mean, it's like, I wouldn't kill another human, like just in murder, right? Because it goes against God. I'm worried about that. So these people don't believe in God. They hate God. They want God removed from everything. They want God removed from schools. They want God to be non-existent. And when you have something, a society that has no foundational morals, right? And everyone is a victim and everyone is morally injured, right? Everyone.
So they don't,
they
don't think they're being judged here. So how can you expect them to think they're going to be judged
somewhere else?
Somewhere else.
Yeah, no. And that really is, again, it's just like, you know, believe in God, don't believe in God. I don't really care. That's not my place. That's on you.
You're going to get judged one day.
One day you are. 100%.
Here or there.
Here or there. And, you know, if you can't take it here, dear God.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But it's like, that's really where it matters.
A great friend of mine at the last shoot, he told me something. I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit. But he said, I'd rather believe there is a God than when something happens and meet them and not believe in, and then it is there, and you're like, you're fucked then.
Yeah. What's funny is every time something like this happens, the shooting in Texas, right? It makes me just smile because something like this happens. The first thing that these people do, thoughts and prayers. Okay. If you don't believe in God, how the fuck are you praying? Right. And I'm going to come back to this other thing in a second, but it's like, so you're praying to God, thoughts and prayers. And then the next thing you do is literally go against everything that you've been preaching. Like, so I hate God until something bad happens. And I hate guns until something bad happens.
I need to protect it.
And then as soon as something bad happens, I want guns, but at the same time, I want to get rid of them. And all I do is laugh at how insane the argument is. I'm like, are you shitting me? Like, are you saying these things out loud, right? And I can't tell you, I'm back on Twitter now, which is I don't even know how that happened, but
never been.
It's awesome. Only because like, you know, anyway, but my reach on Twitter is about as big as it is on Facebook. It's like they shut it down. Nobody sees anything, but I just try to poke everybody that I can. But I read everything, and there's people out there that are, ironically, they're praying for the deaths of Republicans. All Republicans they're praying to God for the deaths of Republicans because of what they think and feel about guns. And I mean, how do you rationalize that? So you're praying to a God who says, do not commit murder. And you're praying for the murder of people, the death of people that you don't agree with politically. That's impressive. Like, that's, the fucking stupidity is off the charts impressive in that point. So,
and yeah, I mean, the narrative changes so much
Constantly.
on one side.
Yeah.
Where I feel like I've never changed my narrative. Like I care about people.
You have to.
I treat people as I want to be treated. Is the golden rule.
And judge people by the character.
I mean,
content, character. That nobody. I don't give a shit what you look like.
We can have an intelligent conversation.
Discourse.
I can see your side.
Discourse.
Yeah, we can have an argument.
Don't have to agree.
But you're unwilling to see anything on my side. Like, all right, we can't have an that is the definition of a non-intelligent conversation.
Well, but they're not intelligent people. They're driven by
emotion.
Me They're driven by emotion,
makes me wonder.
Right? And so that's really the problem. It's like they've tied everything, and it's done by design, in my opinion. But it's like,
and it makes me question your degrees and institutions that give them to you.
It means nothing, and trust me, it means nothing.
Clearly, it does not.
It means nothing. So, I mean, again, kind of come back. So for me, like obviously armed security in schools like that. Sure. That's the number one thing that, like, to me is going to stop anything.
It's a deterrent.
100%.
And this guy got into an argument with a security guard at the door. And how did that get?
I don't even know.
I have so many questions, dude.
I have a lot of questions about these because there's a lot of things that don't make any sense. Like, so you have a guy, the first guy in the school is an off-duty Border Patrol agent that was at the barber shop. Okay. Got a text from his wife that there was an active shooter in the school. She was like a 4th grade teacher, 2nd grade teacher, something like that. His daughter went to the school and his wife teaches at the school.
By the way, those guys are doing God's work on the border.
On the border? Jesus, man.
That's a whole nother podcast, I'm sure.
Unreal.
Yeah, unreal.
So this guy's getting his hair cut. He's sitting in the barber's chair. The question I have here is he grabbed the barber's shotgun. Okay? So you're off duty, Border Patrol. You're in a town that's really close to that border. Why do you not have your own weapon? Why are you grabbing the barber's shotgun? Right?
And you're probably cleared. Everybody's cleared to carry, particularly you, which is a target.
All the time.
But you probably grab the barber's shockwave.
Why do you have the barber's shotgun as you enter the school? You have no weapons on your body. You don't have a weapon in your car. You have nothing. You have to grab the barber shotgun. Anyway, so that's question number one.
Hopefully the barber had a KSG.
But right, dude, something. Like not just
pew. Yeah, twice and done.
So just a single. It's like a single shot. Hope this works. So anyway, I'm out. So he goes into the school. Right? He goes into the school.
God bless him.
And I guess before he goes in, because this is what I'm reading, like he gets there about the same time that everybody else is getting there. So I would imagine it's pretty quick. But they came up with a plan first to get into the school. So you have an off-duty cop, which doesn't sound right to me. Off-duty Border Patrol agent who's clearly not in uniform. He's getting his hair cut. And now he's planning to tactically enter an active shooter situation with law enforcement. And they let him. They let him come in. I guess because why? Because your wife and kid are in there? But at the same time, they didn't do shit. They waited outside. I mean, there's countless videos. There's everything that says parents begging people to go in, and they didn't go in because they were like, oh, we didn't have the ballistic shield that we needed to go in. Wait a minute, are you kidding me?
It seems to be a training issue.
Okay, so one
clearly
training issue. All right, so the first thing I'm going to my head, I was like, okay, so we're the plans for the school. Somebody has to have plans for the school, right? Because if I don't know that school, I'm just thinking normal schools. And there's long hallways, right? And then there's the little, the cut-ins, concrete, whatever,
sure,
and the doors. And this guy was barricaded in one room, okay? So I'm assuming just like every other school, there's windows in that room. There's windows. You don't make a school with no windows. It's impossible, right? So I got access there. I got access by the front door. So where is he barricading? I'm assuming that it's the door, which means that I've got an open shot somewhere. I've got access through the windows somewhere there. I also have, if I'm looking at a door, I don't give a shit what the door is. If there's a, a little alcove or whatever, I've got access from both sides, the front, wherever it may be. Okay. So if this guy's barricaded and he's barricaded this way, okay, and if I'm coming up this way, one, he only has access from this angle, right? So he can't shoot around a corner. If he comes out, okay, cool. So why can't again, I've thought this through. How can I not approach this way? Well, at the same time, somebody's approaching this way, right? And so you're tactically, you're blocking this guy in, and somebody might get tagged, but that's what you do, right? Somebody's going to get tagged.
Yeah, I mean, that's a new training.
That's what it is. Somebody's going to get hit.
First guy through the door.
If you're that guy, you're going to get hit
on
man.
high-speed teams, not like the teams that probably are.
I understand.
In their defense, they have what they have, right?
It is what it is.
First guy's going through to get.
But are you going to be like, I'm not that guy? Like, let those kids die. Like, no, dude.
I mean, I don't know how much of it is lack of training and how much of it is like some George Floyd memories coming through where it's like,
yeah, but you're not.
I'm going to be the guy that did the thing,
the bang bang boogie on the fucking, the cross-dressing fucking freak that just shot 19 kids.
Yeah,
dude, let me be that guy. Let me be that guy. I'm just saying right now. Let me be that guy.
I would love to be that guy.
Yeah, I'd proudly wear that fucking badge.
But
so how do you not? I mean, literally, how do you not fucking?
That's not going to come out in the interviews. I guarantee you. But
never. But how do you not? I mean, I'm just saying, like me and you. Like, dude, you take this side. If there's a hallway, you go this side. I'm gonna go this side. You stay tight. You stay tight. Here's what's gonna happen. If he's barricaded in, somebody's drawing fire, right? So depending upon which way he is, because obviously we'll figure that the fuck out when we get up there, right? Because if I poke my head out and he shoots at me, that's the way that he's fucking looking. Which means I'm drawing fire, and as I'm drawing fire, you're coming around and you're fucking killing that guy.
Yeah.
It's done, right? You have a shit ton of cops there that are doing nothing. I couldn't handle a mother. I couldn't handle a parent screaming about a child. I wouldn't be able to sit there and be like, and they put a mother in handcuffs. They put her in handcuffs.
I saw that, yeah.
And was saying you're interfering with an ongoing investigation? Get the fuck out of here. Like, what are you interfering with? You're a mother. Like, talking about your child,
if you're not going to do it, I'm going to go do it.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, if I'm a parent,
I'd rather have her on my team.
100%. If I'm a parent and my kid's in that school and cops aren't doing anything,
I'm going in.
We're going in.
Yep.
We're doing whatever. Like, you can do whatever. Like, if I got to take you out, at this point, I don't care.
Having had to talk to parents after loved ones died, it's the worst thing
I don't care.
You could possibly imagine.
I don't care.
Yeah,
there's no protocol. Everything goes out the window. Let's just go get this guy and let's just go save these kids as many as we can. Like, and so now we got the mental health thing, right? Which nobody's doing shit to cover that. So I think that every single person, I don't care how old you are, serious mental health screenings. That's what I think. Look at your social media. I don't really care. You want to call me in for an interview? I can be like, yeah, that's me shooting. Like, I'm legitimately shooting a gun. You're going to say I can't shoot a gun? Like, I'm not threatening a life. I'm not doing any of these things.
Employers do it
all the time.
Right at the end of the day, like, I would lie if you didn't say like this new person's coming on to your team or whatever. You don't do like a LinkedIn ping,
100%, man.
YouTube, like all this stuff, and you see what they're about.
100%. Everybody does.
Why when there's a firearm acquisition, all that's not pulled in.
Brother, we just proved 2,000 mules. We just proved that private companies can buy that data and geo-track the shit out of you and figure out exactly where you are, what you're doing. So if you're telling me that the federal government doesn't have that ability, right? They can do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Absolutely.
By a long shot, right? Yeah. So it's not that they don't have the capability.
And of course, the intelligence people will be like, we can't collect intelligence on U.S. people.
Get out of here. Bullshit.
Just do it to save lives.
Again, they can do it. They are doing it, but they're not using the data for the shit. They're actually watching guys like you and me and people that were at the Capitol on January 6th saying that we caused an insurrection. right? I mean, that's the kind of shit.
There's no we there.
Well, yeah, I understand this.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to say.
we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, exactly. We're not getting into
there
that.
was no we there.
Yeah, there was no we.
Okay.
So, I was there, like, but I didn't go anywhere near the Capitol.
In the Capitol during that time, doing the thing that was going on.
Yeah.
There was no we there.
Yeah, no, none. Understood.
The hell that would rain upon that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understood. 100%. And again, to clarify what you're saying, 20 very well-trained dudes, if they wanted to take the Capitol that day, like, not just take it, like, but I've
make it my bitch.
Yeah, like, but then I've said, like, what would you have done? Like, what would be the point? Like, anyone with a brain.
I don't even want to be there.
It means nothing to me. It means nothing to me.
They don't have good coffee or food there.
Nothing.
Or bourbon.
I don't want the Capitol. Like, I don't want.
Been there a million times. Don't care.
I don't want those congressmen.
There.
They mean nothing to me. They have no power. They have no nothing. It's a horrible fortified position. Like, you're going to get your ass kicked all day long. Like, if you're going to do something, that's not where you go. Like, again.
Yeah.
Again, and I'll end on this. They literally, January 6th was a bunch of fucking idiots having unguided tours of the Capitol. It's really what it came down to.
Pretty much.
That's all it was. Unguided tours. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
So
it's I genuinely, if they want to stop these things, they have to fucking start doing mental health checks across the board. I don't care. I'd submit to it all day long. As long as they're legitimate, you know what I mean? Like, as long as, because that's the other thing. You always have that degree of, like, all right, well, I mean, now they have a lot of veterans that if you've, like, attempted suicide, they take away your right to do this. Like, if you smoke weed, you can't buy a gun. Like, so, I mean, there's always that slippery slope.
Sure.
Always. And I'm anti big gov in every way, shape, or form. So I understand this. But if you're looking at saving kids' lives, and that's the goal, awesome, let's do it.
And these people are gonna acquire those weapons in a different way.
It's the easiest thing to do.
It's so easy to get them. Like, but it's not. Again, it's not the acquisition of the weapon that's the issue. And like for me, yeah, like give me competency, give me mental health, give me physical health. Like, I don't care what you want to do. Like Florida, for example, I was on TDY there, got my fingerprints. They take you out on a range, you fire 3 times. I shot the same hole 3 times while looking at the instructor just to be a dick. And he's like, I think you're good. I was like, you think?
Well, side note. So John and I were standing 100 yards, and we had my 45. So we were 100 yards away, and I bet John that we couldn't hit. It was about a 12-inch red target on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, right? So we'd printed that out. We were 100 yards away, and we've been tagging this damn target with, shit all day long. With a 45 pistol, 100 yards away. John hit it 3 times. I hit it once. I'm just telling you right now, if you know anything about pistols, that's not easy to do. A 45 from 100 yards away, even a 12-inch circle, that's not easy to do.
Yeah,
that was a good day.
So that
was a really good day.
So
shout out to Driscoll's and Boxwood Farm. That was good stuff.
Yeah,
Dogwood Farm.
Fantastic. Sorry. I've done that multiple times with multiple people with multiple guns, and mostly
so you set me up.
Mostly other people's guns.
Yeah, you set me up, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, like some of the competitions I won with my buddy's gun. Like before, I was waiting for this thing to get built, and I was shooting on his, and he's probably like, I don't know, 4 inches shorter than me, so it was hard to get on his weapon system.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to. I don't like messing with people's stuff.
Was it like a Red Ryder BB?
No. It was a Tikka TAC 1.
I got you.
So it's pretty.
It's just compact.
Yeah, solid. And so I was everyone was making fun of me because I was laying prone at 90 degrees, and
that's the only way to do it.
I won the competition with his gun set up on for him, right? So then Yeah,
Dude, I mean, you're good. I mean, I'm not even gonna.
yeah,
you're good.
my
You're
buddy,
fucking good.
my buddy owns a range. It's a range at Camp David in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I was with a bunch of my buddies that are like ex special ops, all kinds of like people that are trained.
Yeah.
And shooting this thing, hitting it like 4-inch target at 880. And then I had my competition Glock on me. And they're like, shoot that target out there. I was like, okay, pink. Yeah, like one-handed, like, and
dude, you're good. I was surprised that I hit it once. I really was. Like,
we thought
I was pissed that you hit it 3 times.
We thought that was 100 yards, and it was actually 140. And then my buddy Josh, his dad graduated from West Point, and they do this thing, like the old Army way to shoot, at a long distance. That works. So I did that, and I hit that at 140 yards.
That works.
And then I did the
side,
and it went. I'm not used to shooting
sideways
the way it comes out of the box, right?
Yeah.
And I missed by like 4 inches to the left, but
I don't. Who is? And no normal person
sideways at 140 yards.
140 yards. No one shoots like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I mean, you're fucking good. I mean, that's all it comes down to. That's why I want to go shooting with you all the time. This is like,
this feels good.
Well, I mean,
I feel good.
Why do you want to go shoot? That's why you never want to go with me. Why do you want to go shooting with somebody who sucks?
No, it's like,
or somebody who's not as good as you are.
Make the team better at the end of the day. Like I'm only as good as my spotters.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that.
Like my boy Johnny's like the best spotter. I mean, I'm good. Nothing. Like I'm just I'm a monkey on a trigger at the end of the day. Like he loads my rounds and like I get behind that and I am so comfortable. Like just I could fall asleep behind it and just.
That's. I mean, if you got a spotter like that, I mean, that's why they're teams.
Yeah.
That's why there's one guy out by himself. Like, just figure this out. Like one guy's looking, one guy's pulling.
And another thing I thought about on the way over here is like, so if the question came up, school shootings or just shootings in general, has anyone ever been like celebrated for doing this? And the answer is unequivocally no. Except for one person in one movie, which is a fantastic movie, by the way.
That's right.
That as a Marine, you would understand.
I know.
Yeah. That's the only shooter that's ever been celebrated for popping off 2 rounds in a very short distance for a president in the head moving in a car. Yeah. Very far distance.
Right. But I mean, how do you go about I mean, it's like, we don't even talk about, like, you barely hear about the guy that ended his life. You barely hear about the heroes that went in, right? And like, I understand this is a tragedy.
Yeah.
But it's like we put more emphasis on the sick fuck than the guy that ended it. Like, that guy should be a hero. He should be heralded.
I mean, the wrong people are heroes,
right?
In this country, in general, like
100%.
When a fucking Kardashian is a hero, and people want to idolize that bullshit,
it's disgusting.
Versus someone who like gave their life 9/11, all these people,
it's disgusting.
It makes me want to vomit.
And so that brings me to Memorial Day. So it's like, well, to kind of wrap that up, man. And so it's like, I really do think that we need to pass legislation. We really do. We need to pass legislation that makes mental health a big fucking part of this.
Yeah.
Because that's everything. I don't care. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your political party is. I don't care what your race is. It is 100% mental health. That is it. That is the common factor across every single mass shooting.
Agreed.
From jump, right? Because these things didn't even exist 25 years ago. They didn't. Columbine, that was the first one, right? And those two guys were sick fucks. They had mental health issues, undiagnosed or not. But dude, you've seen those videos? Sick.
Well, therein lies all the training and all the things that they put into before that happened.
Yeah.
Like now it's right in your face.
Yeah. All the time.
The difference between that is like they VHS and they record it and they
record, yeah, exactly
for themselves
afterwards.
But now it's like right in your face and
now,
nothing's being done
real
about
time.
It.
Nothing's being done.
But you're getting banned from Facebook.
Exactly.
Like, seriously.
No, I mean, so it's like we have to do something there because that's the root of the problem. And so how deep you get into that root That's another conversation.
Yeah.
But that's why nothing's being done, because it exposes the bullshit, right? It exposes the right. It exposes the left. It exposes the problems that we're creating by allowing moral injuries, lack of boundaries. It exposes all of this. And who the fuck wants that? No one with a real mind. I don't give a shit whether you believe in leftist policies, right-wing conservative.
Yeah.
No one with a normal brain goes, all right, wait a minute, listen. We're out of the box.
It's a nonpartisan
Yeah,
issue.
we're out of the box here. And so if you have a mental health issue, we should be addressing that, right? But we've taken that, and that's what's fucking funny. We've taken the mental health thing and we've put that into the same bucket as, oh, don't attack them because they're just people too. Like, no, motherfucker, they're not. They are not. They are not just people too.
Yeah.
They are sick people that do not need to be wandering around our society. They need help. So you want to spend the money? Give them the fucking help. Then you go to the security aspect of the schools, right? The training, the teachers, the firearms, all of these things. But then you really, really, in my opinion, you really get down to the police on the local level. They don't respond like they should. And that goes back to what you were saying earlier about, like, why? Why does the ME not have the information from CI? Like, there's a disconnect there.
Yeah.
And that goes back to me. That goes back to politics. That goes back to, why don't they want this stuff to come out? They don't want the truth. They want an agenda. They want a narrative. They want the things to be presented as they want them to be heard.
No, that's exactly it. I mean,
that was loud.
everybody's thinking about, like, what is the headline before
Always,
you're fixing
always,
the problem.
Always.
Which is
It's
like,
clickbait.
all right.
Clickbait.
Yeah. Like, fix the problem before you care about the headline. Everybody cares about the headline. Like, what's the New York Times going to say about this?
That's where the money is, dude. And that's, nobody gives a fuck whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
It's just, how quickly can you get to the headline? What can you say? How many clicks? How many likes? How many comments? Like, that's all that matters, man. And, like, that, again, that's a mental health issue.
It really is.
That in and of itself, social media.
I mean, the like thing is, like, proven.
100%.
That
scientifically.
Yeah.
Proven.
That it,
dopamine.
All
these things.
There's like little girls committing suicide because they didn't get enough likes. Yeah. That's horrendous.
Yep. And so, again, we're sitting here, we're talking to you guys, and we're all on social media. We're doing all the fucking shit I'm sorry. We're doing all the shit, but it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like this shit, don't like it, share it, don't share it, whatever it may be. I really, really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, man.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and I don't know how you do the, like, links in here. Like,
I don't know. We're gonna figure it the fuck out, though.
Yeah, I can. You have the Texas articles.
We'll put them all up.
Yeah, and I can send you the Harvard stuff. But, like, it's interesting, the whole Texas thing, where 8 events over 13 years, and they did an evaluation of the community after each one. And it's like, do you support more gun control, less gun control?
Always more.
And it was like, it was sort of split a little bit, and it never really changes. It's like open carry, no, like, and lottie-dottie, everybody carrying a gun.
But you got to remember,
that's a problem.
The one thing I took away from that article, which is interesting, right? Where were those places? Geographic has everything to do with it, right?
Because if you're before anything else happened,
if you're a border town,
yeah,
you're driven by Democratic policy, right?
I mean,
which is nuts.
If you look at the map and where things are happening,
it's nuts, man.
Here's the other thing. The last thing I'll say about and the question, like,
but that's what I was trying to make the point about. Like,
the burning question that I have is that evaluate each one of these shooters in the mass situation.
Yep. And
then ask them one question: what's your party affiliation? I've never seen it.
Never. Well, they vary. And I'll end on this. Take the fucking guy in New York in the subway, right? Black guy, public, like, avowed, like he was open, racist, hated white people. And he went to a New York subway with a gun, not an AR-15, not a rifle. And he shot a bunch of fucking people because he said, I hate white people. That story got buried quicker than you could possibly imagine. Nobody cared about that. Nobody cared about all those lives that were lost. No one said a word. It got buried.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're
what
gonna
didn't is the one before this one that just happened.
100%. That was
And
amplified. Well, there was one in between that, and it was in the Asian church, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
that guy didn't like Koreans. Like everybody doesn't like. There's just inherent like hatred between
hate,
inner
and
communities,
that's where it is. Like to me, it's the acceptance of hatred, right? Because I might not like certain people. I might not like their ideas. I might not like these things. But I can tell you this right now. Like, I don't walk around and be like, I need to go kill these people.
No.
Like, it's just not a thought that's in my head. And so as much as I might disagree with it, as much as I might like viscerally disagree with who they are, killing them is not something where I'm like, I need to go do this. It's just not in my brain. I'm just telling you right now, am I capable of violence? Absolutely. 100%. You come at me, you come at my family, you come at people I love, you come at children.
Yeah.
I am capable of violence, and sincere and severe violence. But on a random basis where like I'm just gonna walk out and be like, hey, you know what? That guy's a Korean in a church and I'm gonna go shoot him. Like, that's fucking nuts.
It blows my mind.
But there are people that are out there.
Yeah, violence capability is a whole nother thing. Like,
Jordan Peterson, right?
Yeah.
You heard him. Like,
yeah,
be a monster. Be a monster.
Yeah.
Like, you should be a monster. Like, being a good man, a weak man, that doesn't mean anything. Being a weak man actually is worse than being a monster.
Yeah.
Because a weak man means that you have no constitution. You don't know who you are, which is exactly what this guy that shot these fucking kids in Texas. He was weak. He was a piece of shit. He preyed on children. No man does that. No strong fucking man does that. And it makes me nauseous because you look at these people and that's who they prey on. They prey on the weak. They prey on the vulnerable,
right?
That have no defense systems. You come at me, like
it's never going to happen.
You may get me.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be easy.
No,
and that's the idea.
You're going to know you're in a
That's
fight.
the idea. You're going to know you're in a fight. You're not fighting 8-year-olds that are in a small little box.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like one of my best friends, and I'll plug him because he's amazing.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. Matt Robinson. He owns Krav Maga Charleston, South Carolina, and we did a lot of training together. And he told me one time, and I like really took this to heart. If someone's gonna put violence on you, you have to be willing and able to trump that violence with levels that they've never seen before.
Yeah,
never seen before.
Yeah.
And he's willing to do that, and I'm willing to do that, and you're willing to do that. Like, if you're gonna come at me,
there's no limits. Like, I'll bite your nose off.
Yeah.
Like I will pull your eye out of your head. Like, and not even think twice about it. Like, take my
probably
finger,
laugh a little bit.
Take my finger and pluck it out like it's a grape. Like, I don't care.
We walk around on a day-to-day basis being very civil.
Yeah.
In a society that, like,
because you have control.
It's asking for violence, but we don't. We do not do that. And that's
have control.
Again, it's the control and the bookends and our upbringings and the social compass that we
you don't walk around pulling people's eyes out of their head.
Yeah.
Like, you know, even if somebody were to punch you in the face, like, that doesn't warrant severe damage. That's like, unless you're trying to do that kind of damage to me, it doesn't warrant that kind of damage. Like, I'll take a punch in the face. All right, cool. Let's go. I've done it countless times. It is what it is.
As evident by my eye doctor appointment just yesterday. She's like, your left eye's a little like weird.
Yeah.
Like,
the lazy one, this one. Not I'm talking about me.
Yeah, no,
I'm talking about me. This one's a little lazy. Like, when I smile, like, it's always in the picture.
It's like, have you had any trauma to your face at all? Like,
just in this general area. Yeah. Anyway,
adjusting your contacts for long distance shooting.
You wear glasses?
Contacts.
Well, so that means your fucking vision's fucked up. So you're that good wearing fuck you, man. God damn, fuck you. Jesus. All right. So, dude, that was awesome. Brother, we're going to wrap this thing up.
All right. Yeah.
I would say, so it's Memorial Day weekend. And
yeah,
you can't forget that. So we're gonna be riding in Rolling Thunder this Sunday. We're gonna go down. We got a good crew of people, but I would say this. I'm gonna pour. You got some. I'm gonna pour one more thing for me. Just a little sip. You're good. So I raise my glass to the American flag, whose colors never run. To our brothers who have fought in the battles we've won, and to the brave who gave, who will never again see the sun. Until Valhalla, we remember you, my friends. Happy Memorial Day. And thank you for listening to two morons bullshit about a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
Hopefully you all learned something. It was good. It was fun for us. That's for sure. That's for goddamn sure. Here's to you guys. Here's a whiskey thought.
Cheers.
Have a great weekend. Enjoy.